Hey everybody, it's Jake here, back with another Jake Does It. It's been a while since my last video, and my wife, as well as other people, have been on me to get back and make another video. So I've decided I want to do another one, and we're going to do it on making a maple syrup evaporator out of a 55-gallon metal drum with a burn barrel wood stove kit that I'm going to try to put together. You are going to go along with me. You've probably seen these in some stores. All it is it comes with a door that you can open up. Goes on the front of the barrel. You'll cut a hole out for it. It also comes with two legs that we will mount to the bottom of the barrel. Get that good leveled. A flue that you'll put on the top of the barrel when we get to that point. And we're going to cut two sections out of the barrel that we will put these, and also you're going to put 3 sections of 2-inch flue pipe on. I got a little rain cap for it. And what we're going to be evaporating in are 2 full-size 6-inch steamer trays for or steamer pans for like a buffet. You can kind of get the idea. We're going to cut a square out, a rectangle out that these will fit in. And once we get the fire going, it'll boil our sap down. We'll hope to have some maple syrup. Usually I have my tripod set up and I'm working the camera by myself, but Macy's off. It's our date night. No kids, so she's gonna be my camera woman. Here we go. All right, the first step in instructions that came with this barrel kit is to lay the door on the end of the barrel, and it says, the directions are a little deceiving. So it actually says mount and trace door. Well, what you don't wanna do, and I've never done one of these, but I can already tell you, you do not wanna trace around the outside of this, because if you was to trace that and cut it out, you're going to put your door on, it's going to go straight through. So what I've done is I laid it out, I used my measuring tape. Obviously these bungs are not perfectly square because every way I measured it, it wasn't going up. So it's going to drive me nuts, but it's a little bit off on this, catty corner from what I think it should be, but it measures right the way it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it, and I've actually previously already marked it before we decided to make a video. But I'm just going to use this marker here and mark the inside. And then I'm going to measure how far down I need to go so I can open my little door here to get your draft. And you're going to want to cut that out just a little wider than your mark so you don't catch it when you're trying to put wood in, but you're going to leave enough here so you can get all your screws or your bolts through to mount your door. And then of course you obviously want to cut down here to where you can leave enough to get your 2 attaching bolts here, but then you still have it open behind it so that you can adjust your airflow. So I'm going to go ahead and do my cutting, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I've got it traced out here, and I've got my grinder ready. And something that you might want to be aware of is, I don't know where you're going to get your barrels at, but even if it's used especially, try to find out what was in it. Because the last thing you want to do is go to cutting on this thing and it be something in there that's flammable and you blow up. So definitely find out what it is. Make sure it doesn't need to be cleaned out. This one I know for a fact had hydraulic fluid in it, but I did go ahead and remove the bung. It's pretty simple. That way if something was to start on fire, at least it'll shoot out of here and it's not just going to explode and really cause any injury. So that's what we really want to do, is make sure you don't have one that contains anything flammable, because that could be a very bad deal. So now what I'm going to do is use my grinder, and I'm just going to cut it out. Like I said, it's not going to have to be perfect, as long as you leave enough to get your bolts into, and take enough out to where you can get a full draw where you need your air to come through, and you're not going to catch the edges on your wood when you put the wood in. Okay, so the grinder was entirely too loud inside the garage. I don't have anything for my hearing. So I ended up just punching through my grinder giving me some starts. I'm gonna use those Sawzall to finish the cut. Okay, so that was a lot quicker also with the Sawzall once I got it opened up. So I got it sitting on here, I opened it up, and as you can see, got just a little bit exposed up there on the top. And then the bottom is fully open to where I can work my little gate. And it's all able to open. And I still got material at every bolt hole to fasten it. Okay, so the next step is going to be to lay your door on, and then you'll see the holes all the way around it. They are countersunk holes, and the heads on your screws are beveled, or your bolts are beveled. I'm using it doesn't tell you what size bit to use, but I figured out it is a 15/64 drill bit. And I've already got a couple in here just so this thing doesn't move when I'm showing y'all. We're just gonna go through and drill each hole. And you will come back, grab your nut. You see, like I said, the head on there is countersunk, so it grabs a hold of this flange and holds it. Just stick it through, come in with your nut. You'll get it snugged up, and you can come back through and either hold on the back with the wrench and use your drill to snug them up, or the back of these nuts are actually got the grooves machined into them where it will bite. So once you snug it up your fingers, it might hold enough to where you can just use your drill and snug them up without having to even put a wrench on the inside. So I'm gonna make my way around real quick and drill the rest of these out so I don't have to do that no more. And then go through and put all my bolts in. So my door's on, all my bolts are tightened up, and it was like I suspected. The nuts will draw up, and then you can just tighten it from the outside. But there was some burrs from where I drilled in, and sometimes it catch them burrs and it would start to spin. So it is a 10mm. So, or at least on this kit, which this kit is made by United States Stove Company. So United States Stove Company camp stove kit, 10mm is what your nuts are. So I just held it up at 10mm and tightened them down. Next thing I'm gonna do is install the legs. Like I said, the instructions, there's really no secrets to measuring other than eyeballing it for the most part. I'm not the greatest at mathematical equations and figuring out where everything's even, but the best I'm gonna do is I know I want it to be level with this door. So I found 2 landmarks on this corner. I'm just gonna line it up to where it's exactly the same on both. And then I have the same lip of where the bottom of the barrel comes out. So I'm just gonna bring it straight out and straight back under. And I can kind of look and tell that's going to be about right. And I already hit this once with a punch. So I got a punch up there, but what I did was I held it in place. I took my punch. I just kind of scraped all the paint off. Do it again. So this one is marked. I'm going to drill my holes and attach it. Now the next one, I am going to get a level. And I'm going to try to, or maybe drop a plumb bob off of it, but I am going to try to get that more level because I definitely do not want unlevel legs. Actually, what I'll probably do is set it up and then slide them under the back and get it level that way. But this is a new experience. This is not a hard project, but it's what I'm doing tonight, and people have been wanting a video, so we'll keep going. Okay, so I got the first set of legs bolted on and the doors bolted on. And as I was saying earlier, I don't know how you would go about measuring or finding out how to put the legs exactly in the right spot. So I did what I think is probably gonna be the easiest way to get it right. As I just went ahead and laid the stove down and set the legs on it, brought them all the way back up against this lip, just like I did on the front. And I marked my holes, and now I'm gonna tilt it forward and drill those holes. And then try to find a way to reach inside and hold that nut on. That should be interesting, but that'll be the next step. Here we go. Okay, so maybe some of you all already thought of this as you was watching this video. I marked out my spots for my back legs, and I was sitting there telling Macy, like, I don't know how I'm gonna reach my little short T-Rex arms back in that thing and get them nuts on. And then I got to mocking this thing up. I had my pan sitting on a second ago, and I put the flue on, and then it hit me. I'm just gonna cut out my flue hole and then I'll reach straight down in to be able to put the nuts on. So I'm gonna do this first. Basically, this is the only time I think you'll need a level. I've set this on top of here, and just I'm gonna turn it. It'll only really fit on here one way. It's already curved with the barrel. So you get the flue on whichever side you desire. Get that flue rod sideways like that, and then just gonna work it until you're good and level. Oops, too much. So right there shows to be perfectly level. So it looks center to me. I'm gonna go ahead and mark out my outline and cut that out, and then I will install my legs, and I'll get back with you on installing the flue. Thank you. Okay, so I've already got my circle drawn out here where I traced it on the inside of this. But I want to show you real quick. This is what your flue will attach to, and this is in here is your damper. This is a 6-inch damper. They do make replacements for them if they rust out or get broken. But you can't trace this unless you remove your damper, and it's really simple to do. As you can see, this rod here has a kink in it kind of, and it goes up into here, so that when you turn it, that's what turns it. So all you have to do is, this is spring loaded on this side. You just push that in, twist your rod and hold your damper into place, and then it'll pull out this end and your damper comes apart. And then you can set your flange up on here, get you a good trace, and then we'll cut that out next. And after that's done, you should be able to replace your damper. Should be no other reason you'll need it out anymore. And it's really simple, just like you took it in or took it out. Just slide it back through one hole and the other. When you get into where that raised part is, you just go a little bit past it, twist it back up, let it fall back into it, and we're back in business. So unless you have a 6-inch hole saw or something else that I don't have, I don't know how you're gonna start this hole. So what I did is I just took my drill bit that I've been drilling all my holes for my bolts, and I just went along the edge a little bit. It don't look perfect, but it should give me a good enough start to get my sawzall in there and start cutting it that way. so I've got my damper put in back there. Back legs are bolted on, front's bolted on, doors on. Your actual stove is done. I don't have the last section on because it won't fit in the garage. But if you wanted to have just a wood stove, it's done. That's a very easy project. But the next thing I need to do is cut to where these pans will sit down in here so far in this, into the stove. So the ones that I've seen done, they come down to about right in here. So what I've done is I've got my level here, and I found that my door is not exactly level. It doesn't show, and that don't surprise me. But I've done made some marks here with my, I'm just gonna go level because I want my pans level as can be. It's not a bad thing. I'm not filling these pans all the way up. When I boil, I try to maintain about 2 inches of sap in there all the time. So these are 6-inch pans, so I got room to play with. But my idea is, I've got a level mark, and then I'm just gonna follow it along the side here level. And I'm just gonna cut out just wide enough to where this almost scrapes when it goes in the side, because I don't want to keep as much smoke inside as I can. That's why I've got a 6-foot flue on this thing. Normally on the outside, if you was at your camp or whatever, I don't know if you want 6 foot of flue, but I wanted that smoke going up and away so it's not rolling back and getting right into my sap. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish marking this out for the first pan. I've got my starting point, so I'm just gonna go level with it on back, and we'll see how it ends up. All right, we're finally done with this thing. It really wasn't all that bad. A lot of guessing, since I've never done anything quite like this before. But the stove part itself is really easy. Putting the pans on is a little harder. I did mess up, so I went straight across from here on each side. I should have came up a little bit higher, because what I've ended up with is my pans don't have the about ½ inch or a little bit more maybe of play before they fall. They won't fall all the way in, but it'll dump all my sap out. So you can see what it looks like without the pans in. It's not pretty. The good part about this is this flue kit, or the damper and the door and all that, the whole stove kit, it's reusable. So next year or even later this year, if I felt like it, I can just get me another barrel and try it again. But this will work. I'm probably going to make a little bracket to put on both sides just to keep my pans from falling in. But I think this is going to work. It's going to beat the fish fryer that I used last year, and I can do more at once. I'm just going to have to make sure that I find a way for my pans not to fall down in there. But I think it's going to work. I should have another video, I'm hoping, of the final procedure of making this maple syrup. We put taps out this morning. Me and Macy went and checked it before we started on this, and we've already got buckets that are ready to be emptied. I bought this rain thing that had marked down today at Orchlands. It's for rainwater storage. It's actually food safe, and it's that solid colored plastic, so it ain't gonna let the light in and ruin the sap, and I can hold it for a few days until I get enough to make a good run. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I can't wait to do it. And for tonight, I'm just gonna lay them cut out pieces back up there. I'm gonna burn out this barrel. I don't really want to burn up these new pans without anything in them. But that's it. We'll go out there, throw another piece on. Let it burn through the night, and I'm ready to go to bed. And I will see you all next time. Thank you.